Welcome back to the A9 series, where we talk about the 99% of A9 that Amazon sellers do not know about, and some they do for context. It's totally free. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell to get notified. If you're listening back on the podcast, pause and make your way over to the Seller Sessions YouTube channel, as the visual aspect will help more with gaining comprehension on A9 based on the science literature. In this episode, we'll be talking about the A10 myths. A10 isn't part of the science literature, so let's make that clear up front, but we will be covering a number of reasons there is a constant confusion on why this comes up a lot of the time. Some of it's going to be general lack of knowledge, and some of it's clickbait, as you would expect being on the internet. Alex, can you fly the dragons, please? Okay, let's get into it. Amazon's search engine algorithm, A9, is a critical component of the company's business. It powers the search systems that are the backbone of Amazon's revenue and profitability. However, there's been some speculation about whether Amazon might be considering replacing A9 with a new algorithm, perhaps called A10. First and foremost, it's important to note that algorithms are not static entities. They can be updated and refined over time based on changes in the data and the needs of users. This is particularly true for search algorithms, which need to adapt to changes in user behavior and preferences, as well as changes in the type of products being sold on Amazon. In other words, A9 is not a one and done algorithm that can never be changed or improved. Amazon made changes in the way that the product reviews are displayed in search results, as we know, and they introduced advertising options around 7-8 years ago, which will require updates to the A9 algorithm. You've all seen how sponsored products affect rank, and if you search on YouTube, I did a video on this in 2015 with 3 products showing the correlation of sales via PPC and the impact on rank. It's very crude, but it's there if you want to have a good laugh. Of course, a lot has changed since then. You can no longer blast your way to ranking if you have a bad conversion rate. If anything, a poor conversion rate affects both the organic and the PPC ranking campaigns, which are weighed down by poor performance history. So, given the history of incremental changes and updates to A9, it's more than likely that they will continue to refine and improve the algorithms rather than starting from scratch with A10. It's simply more efficient to build on existing knowledge and expertise rather than reinventing the wheel. In addition to the practical considerations of refining an existing algorithm, there is also significant risks involved in suddenly dropping A9 and, say, building A10. For one thing, A9 is a complex system that is tightly integrated with other systems and processes within Amazon's infrastructure. Replacing A9 with a new algorithm or algorithms would require extensive testing and validation to ensure that the new algorithms are performing correctly and meeting the desired performance criteria. This process can be time-consuming and may require significant resources. There's also the risk that the new algorithm could take time to ramp up and produce results that are as good or better than the existing algorithm. This could potentially impact the user experience and revenue, especially if the new algorithm is not performing as well as expected. This would leave investors unhappy and have impact on the share price. Finally, it's worth noting that Amazon's business strategy is based on long-term planning and investment. The company is not known for making sudden, rash decisions that could have negative consequences for its business. Instead, Amazon tends to take a calculated approach to innovation and change, carefully weighing up the risks and benefits of any significant strategic shifts. In conclusion, while it's possible that Amazon may eventually replace A9 with a new algorithm, it's unlikely to happen suddenly or in the short term. Instead, it's more than likely that Amazon will continue to refine and improve A9 based on changes in the data and the needs for its users. This incremental approach to algorithm development has served Amazon well in the past and is likely to continue to be the company's preferred approach in the future. Okay, I want you to move from feelings and observations to having a grounding in how parts of A9 works. We'll never know it all, but you can go from shooting in the dark to applying some principles. Then you can make better observations and, of course, better testing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a personal example here just to put in some context. Back in the day, I was a record producer in the 90s. At first, I was self-taught and I was just tweaking to get near to what I wanted to hear in my head. Then I was teaching in colleges, and then I took a big step up at a big London college called Point Blank, which is still around today. And also, there was another highbrow college called Alchemia. To be honest with you, I had a rude awakening. I had to scrap everything I thought I knew and learn the principles of sound engineering, from the science to the application, from sound design to the Nyquist theorem. I had to learn every parameter on the compressor, limiters and gates for processing, auxiliaries and buses, wet effects such as delay and reverb. Then there was EQ, so that every part of the record could sit correctly in the mix. Your drums, bass, keys and vocals all have specific frequency ranges where they sit nicely in the pocket. In a year or so, my engineering skills went up 100x. Prior to that, I'd already put out maybe 30 to 40 records. Another example away from this, let's just say that you've got two mechanics. One fixes cars based on their observations, and the other fixes cars based on their knowledge of mechanical and electrical components. Who do you think will have an edge? Let's be realistic. So, if you can take the foundation of the knowledge, you'll be able to work better from both, giving you better options on your testing and your observations. So to wrap, for years I've seen posts on A10, but there doesn't seem to be any foundation in the rumours, and it goes against building huge and complex technical structures. Of course, I could be completely wrong, but what I'm trying to do here is get to the objective truth with this series, not the need to be right. It doesn't matter who's right. The fact is we want to get the right results. And with little or no sign of Amazon replacing A9 anytime soon, it may be time to throw away what you think you know about ranking and invest your time in the fundamentals. You're only going to get better at doing that with the sound principles. And at least your observations and testings can be grounded in something relating to sound principles. And finally, the reason why it's called A9. Alex?
Yes, Danny?
Can you fly the dragons, please? In the next episode, we're going to cover when and how algo updates are pushed, how they're trained, and dispel some of the myths and why Amazon sellers have sleepless nights as the rankings go up and down like the stock exchange. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'll see you again soon. Take care.